Have you ever gave up hope, looking for a way to cope, all alone in a castle by yourself, knowing you were made to rule, looking like a royal fool, if you only had someone to help. We got to clean these rodents out. There ain't no way we're gonna let them run this place. I'll show them what this king's about. It won't be long before we get them on the run. Here's what I propose we do. I'm gonna count on you, give you all the cheese that you could ever want. If you wanna be your best, put your trap up to the test. Buy some super brie and watch the suckers come. Oh yeah, we got to clean these rodents out. There ain't no way we're gonna let them run this place. I'll show them what this king's about. It won't be long before we get them on the run. We got to clean these rodents out. There ain't no way we're gonna let them run this place. I'll show them what this king's about. It won't be long before we get them on the run. Had you ever gave up hope, looking for a way to cope, all alone in a castle by yourself? We got to clean these rodents out. There ain't no way we're gonna let them run this place. I'll show them what this king's about. It won't be long before we get them on the run. We got to clean these rodents out. There ain't no way we're gonna let them run this place. I'll show them what this king's about. It won't be long before we get them on the run. We got to clean these rodents out. There ain't no way we're gonna let them run this place. I'll show them what this king's about. It won't be long before we get them on the run.
Hello, MouseHunt. Good morning, afternoon, evening, wherever you happen to be in the world. Hello, everybody. My name's Dave. It is, September 17, 2021. Welcome to Feedback Friday on this fine Friday. How's everybody doing in the chat? Hope everybody's doing fantastic. Hello, hello. Ben singing along to the intro music. Nice to see you, Ben. Nid in the chat. That is Giorgio. He's going to join us in a few minutes as well. So a little bit of a different setup today. I set up my Windows machine because it's a whole lot easier to do audio capture on Windows than it is Mac. So yeah, we're trying a little bit of a different setup, and Giorgio's going to pop in just a few minutes as well. Hello, Jintas, if I'm pronouncing your name right. Is there no more login option from the MouseHunt webpage? There should be. So maybe check your ad blocker settings. Maybe something's hiding a button, but you should be able to log in via Facebook. Just make sure you're on the login, not the registration screen. Trevor, a massive passive was coined by Jacob long ago. Yeah, it was. And I feel like that is just a great way to describe the very unique genre MouseHunt is in. I don't know if there's too many games like it out there, but that was a pretty good description of it, I thought. Ben says RIP music. Yeah. That one goes on for a little bit there. I thought I'd chime in right at 11. So hello, KDM. Hello, always nice to see you. Jason, hello. Salim, hello, Dave. Well, hello back to you as well. Oh, and where's Giorgio? He will join us in just a few minutes. Good morning. Good morning. A lot of good mornings in the chat. Well, great to see everybody. Suzanne, Mark, Lady Nutsy, XK, Yoshira, Bryce, hello. KDM, it's your first time watching Feedback Friday using your Linux setup. Well, welcome. Hopefully you're wearing a penguin suit while you do that. No, probably that's for the best if you don't. Well, today we're going to go over a little bit of Relic Hunter Season 9, some of the updates that we're working on there. We're doing a lot of kind of brainstorming, ideation, and we've kind of moved on from that a little bit. We're starting to workshop, prototype, actually put things in the game and play them. So we want to give an update on where we're at with there. I know a couple Feedback Fridays ago we were discussing Relic Hunter, so we'll give a little update where we're at. As well as we'll touch base on elite maps. So we've gotten lots of feedback since their introduction in terms of their difficulty and the reward structure. Wanted to kind of go over some of the ideas we have there as well, get player reaction, sentiments, maybe start some discussions, Facebook groups, forums, Facebook page, Discord. It's always nice to read after Feedback Friday, people's comments and the discussions that form around that stuff to kind of help guide some of our decisions as well. Good evening, yeah. Good evening. Stanley, first time watching as well. Not sure what to expect. Hopefully this will be a good ride. Stanley, we'll do our best. Thanks for joining us. So I'll bring Giorgio in here. If you want to turn your camera actually on, Giorgio.
Go ahead and bring me in first. I had a bit of pre-Feedback Friday trivia
related to. Okay. You're on, Giorgio. Welcome.
Hey, everybody. How's it going? This is me. This is what I look like now. I'm a weird taupe square and a little tiny circle in the middle. Dave, I wanted to ask you a bit of pre-feedback trivia. What do you think I've got going on with my hair right now? Is it up or is it down? If you remember last week, it was up. So what's your guess this time?
What's my guess, eh? I'm going to say it's in a ponytail. That's my guess.
Oh, that's time.
It's 50-50. I lose the coin flip.
Yeah, you lost the 50. It could have been like it could have been ponytail, could have been two side tails, could have been a braid, could have been a bun, just a back bun, a high bun, a low bun.
Just in the last 10 minutes, you shaved your head and got a really tall mohawk
exactly.
going. I don't know.
Yeah, real quick, like.
Well, welcome. Hi, thanks for joining us, Giorgio. Hair down and all. Thanks for coming on in. Let your hair down. Stay a while. Make yourself at home.
Nice. Thanks.
So we'll launch into a little bit of, I'm going to get started with elite maps as well, kind of get player sentiment there as well. So as we've collected feedback on elite maps ever since their introduction, kind of the sentiment that we've gotten in the feedback is, hey, they're a little more challenging. They're kind of extra hard, and the rewards don't quite align well with that extra challenge. And so we kind of took that and we ideated on it a bit and analyzed things. And where we're at, what we think we want to do is move both of those posts a little bit. So both make the map a little bit easier and then up the rewards a little bit. So kind of help those meet in the middle a little bit better as well. So a few changes we're looking at is one, reducing the number of mice on the map. That's going to make it a little bit easier and quicker to solve. I think it's at 45 right now for an Elite Slayer at least, and dropping that to 40. As well as we looked at some of the mice on the maps as well. And just as a general rule, the shattering mice from the Living Garden, they are rather exceptionally hard to get a shattering charm prepared. So actually we're going to remove those from all the maps is the idea right now as well. So kind of that's how we're looking to make the maps just a little bit easier, bring them a little bit closer maybe to what the arduous level of difficulty is. So we'd love to hear what hunters have to say about that.
Yeah, I'm personally not a fan of those shattering mice myself, so I'm glad to see that change. But I'm also not much of a multi-area map hunter. I like to kind of find an area that I'm hunting in right now and stay there for like a few months, and I do the local maps.
Yeah, I think I'm kind of the same way as well.
Yeah,
Final Heart
kind of
says you
have
like
a
the
big
challenge
goal
of
in
elite
mind.
maps, but needs rewards to. I don't know how to pronounce that word. I know what it means, but I'm having troubles difficult to commemorate with them.
Consumerate, consumerate.
Giorgio's a better wordsmith than I. Expanding our lexicon. Not just Larry's Loot lexicon. Trevor says Slayer isn't really the problem, it's the Relic Hunter Slayer. You mean Relic Hunter Elite, perhaps? We're taking a look at all the Elite tier. Relic Hunter Elite. There you go. Trevor corrected himself. Oh, never mind. Relic Hunter only. Peter says good idea
Okay.
to remove the shattering mice like that. Yeah, I think some of the thought process there was just preparing a shattering charm or two might take longer than doing the rest of the map sometimes. So that felt a little bit like you open up the map and you see there's 2 shattering mice or something. And you're like, I don't really want to throw away this map because there was quite a bit of effort involved in getting a Slayer scroll case, but oh, these 2 mice basically define the map. So that's kind of what led to us removing the shattering or considering doing it. Diamond likes the multi area. Jason says, keep Shattering Mice a Lightning Slayer. We'll take a closer look. I don't believe they're on the Lightning maps, though, unless I'm mistaken, which I certainly could be.
Yeah, it's like I get the sort of the effort required to build it up. It could feel good when you're like, okay, I have all these charms, I'm ready to go. I can knock off a bunch of these mice. But if the effort, like you said, Dave, is more to get those shattering mice prepped than the rewards you get from the chest itself, there's a hard balance to strike there.
Yeah. So it seems like there's okay sentiment there. And then on the other end, increasing the rewards a little bit. So again, just kind of moving those 2 posts, make it slightly easier and a little more rewarding as well. Increasing the bait keep charms by 1, or in the rare chest, it'll be by 2. So, and even that kind of makes sense as well when you look at all the Slayer chests, and the bait keeps go up by 1. Except when you get to Elite, you get the same amount as an Arduous. So just upping that by 1, as well as the Slayer aura duration. Unless I'm mistaken, the Arduous is 10 days. So we're looking at increasing the Elite all the way up to 20 or even 21 for a nice even 3 weeks. So 3 weeks of Slayer aura when you complete an Elite Slayer map. Jonathan says, Shattering Mice don't feel as bad as having like 4+ Paragons. Okay, that's interesting sentiment.
Really? I honestly, like, I've been doing the Sky Pirate maps, the 4-person ones, for, can't even count now how many we've done. And I think it's my favorite because you got everyone kind of lined up. You get to sort of have, for me, it's like a strong goal to keep pushing towards getting those jewels as well. And I just kind of, luck of the die, see what kind of lines up nicely when I'm gonna do one of the runs. I don't know. Yeah, it's an interesting kind of take on that.
Yeah, I feel like it's a little less of a sneak attack on you when those show up, because at least you can rush, you can go really quick and try to do something to speed up the Paragons. But when you get a Shattering Mice and you look at your Essence collection and you have 0, you're basically saying, well, for the next month I'm going to go do the Living Garden so I can do this map. So that kind of led us down that road to consider removing them. But of course, as always, we like to throw it out there ahead of time, see what players think.
Mm-hmm.
Laura says, I have 2 Shattering Mice on the Lightning
Paragons
map.
offer-
All right, good to know. I guess they are on the Lightning maps. I was mistaken.
Oh, then there you go. Okay.
More aura is really cool. Does the jump feel too extreme? Yeah, that's another thing as well. The number of mice on the map, it keeps going up by 5 every time you go up a difficulty tier, but the Elite go up by 10. So kind of bringing that more in line with the other, make it a more linear scale in difficulty where there's just 5 more per difficulty tier.
Trevor here asks, how will you define new chests from old chests to prevent hoarding of elite chests and then opening when rewards adjusted? So we will version the chests, unless I'm mistaken, Dave. You can correct me there.
Yep, no, that's correct. If it kind of goes ahead, the old ones will be called 2020 Elite Slayer Chest, or 2020, or the Relic Hunter ones get named after the season, but they typically get the year they were sort of not, or the year before they were retired, I guess, because in 2021, it means we're introducing a new version of the chest, so the old ones will get labeled as 2020. Would the aura jump be retroactive existing chests? Kind of related to versioning their Final Heart? No, it would not, because kind of the rules have changed, and so you have to have one of the new versions of the chest to get the new aura duration. Yeah, what about suggesting in the chat more ways to get essence in rift areas? Yeah, it's an interesting thing to consider as well. It may kind of affect other areas. It has more kind of sweeping changes even just outside maps as well, so something to consider. Finally, the other kind of tier of reward that we're looking at adding to the chest, and this one's a little bit more up in the area. We've been workshopping it for a while, and if you watch Feedback Friday often, I think it was months ago, we kind of discussed this idea we're brainstorming is adding one more slot to every elite tier map, probably outside of the Toxic Spill elite map, that has access to kind of a unique drop table, and it's just always kind of something that's pretty exciting. And so a way to kind of guarantee when you open up a chest and it has elite in the name, at least for Relic Hunter and Slayer, that you know there's going to be one thing in that chest that's kind of unique and special to that tier of difficulty to kind of, again, put it just a little bit notch above the arduous tier. And ties in Bryce asking what's been the discussion for better loot in the elite chest. So, to recap, increasing the Baitkeep charm by 1, increasing the aura duration of the Slayer chest. And now as well looking at kind of just adding one more item to those chests on kind of a unique table of loot. It would include kind of drops from boss mice, as they often get called, because that seems thematic to a Slayer map. It's the mice that you went and caught anyway. It's almost like one more chance at stuff that they typically drop. So, Warmonger can drop sandblasted metal and can drop the crystal and the water node, the bead. So it's kind of one more shot at that, and you kind of share that with your map mates as well, that extra chance. Reaper asks, will Elite Chromes be coming this year? That's actually an excellent segue into the next thing I was going to touch base on before we dive into more Relic Hunter stuff, is reviewing how the difficulty of the map is determined. So Slayer maps are rather unique in that when you open it up, you're not sure what difficulty you're going to get. In fact, Slayer and Relic Hunter maps are pretty much the only map that work that way. There's maybe an event map here and there that work that way. Everything else, when you open it, hey, I know the difficulty is going to be kind of title appropriate for me. So we workshopped a bunch of things. We look, what if we just make it so you always get the most challenging, rewarding, title appropriate reward from the Slayer map? But, that had some rough edges in that, hey, it's a 1 in 9 chance to get the Elite, or 1 in 9 to get the Arduous. That's kind of increasing the rewards of those maps almost by 9 times. So we workshopped a bunch of things, and then just seeing how often players ask about the Chrome Slayers. We look at the Chrome Slayer map, and it does work that way already. When you open up a Chrome Slayer scroll, should you have one, even though they haven't been around in a while, you always get the title-appropriate difficulty for your title. So that led to some inspiration. What if you could upgrade your regular old Slayer scroll case into a Chrome Slayer scroll case and kind of introduce an extra cost, kind of like upgrading to party size. You can upgrade that, and then even it's going to be challenging, it's going to be title-appropriate, and for opting into that extra tier of challenge, you get 2 auras plus extra stuff in the chest.
Yeah, it's interesting. Even the rainbow scrolls, the party size rainbow scrolls, toxic scrolls, which are again based on the waves, and then anything else that's area specific, all pretty much 1-to-1 or kind of this relationship of it's going to give you something that's appropriate for your title. But then something about the original Relic Scrolls, it never worked that way, and maybe that's where we sort of started the Slayer Scrolls from that mentality, and we didn't think about capping them off based on difficulty.
Taking some notes of things in the chat here.
Like that.
Yeah, Daniel, need better reward tier for Elite. Yeah, that's what we're exploring. Swift says the Relic Hunter Elite ones don't need to be extra special. Arduous could also have their loot increase. Okay, interesting. Peter says, ooh, I like that. Chrome Kit for Slayers from Ronze. That was one thing. If we look at making it available all year round, kind of having a little bit of a narrative tie-in, we weren't sure if it's kind of weird to have a Chrome item that isn't directly sort of brought by Ronza, but more maybe she left behind the plans, and the cartographer knows how to chrome those scroll cases on his own now. Yeah, Alex says, like that more player control is good in your opinion. Yeah, that's what it's about too. It provides choice. It's like, okay, I can kind of, get a randomized Slayer map, not sure what I'm going to get, or I can opt in for something that's a little extra challenging, but a little more rewarding. And ultimately, it's kind of up to Hunter to decide what challenge they're up for.
So Grant Beckler says, what if we could purchase or pay to upgrade or downgrade a map? And we kind of brainstormed or workshopped a bit of that too, Dave, if you wanted to jump into it there.
Yeah, we were looking at it. Some of the implementation kind of needed. It was just going to be a pretty big scope to kind of build this whole interface suite and this flow to kind of move maps up and down. Then we try to look at something, okay, maybe we could make a scroll for every difficulty tier and then let you choose which one you want to get. And then, hey, it's a hard scroll. When I open it, I get a hard map. And then maybe something like a Slayer's coin that you earn, and that's what you buy, and they have different prices depending on the difficulty tier. But it started to get really complex, a little bit on the convoluted side. We had a lot of different scrolls, a lot of items to remember what they are, where do you get them. So we kind of shied away from that, and that's when this inspiration for, well, what if we tie in the Chrome Slayer scroll case in a way where, hey, it's just 2 types of Slayer rather than having a whole suite of them. Yeah, Preschmidt says, it's frustrating sometimes when I'm hoping for the big aura, but it's nice when I'm able to finish a map more quickly. That was something else we discussed with the team, is in some ways it's almost nice if you always don't get the absolute most challenging one. In some ways, I think for some hunters it'll be a nice break. It's like, oh, it was a medium one this time. Oh, it was a hard one. Okay. All right. It's not as rewarding, but all right, we can cool our jets a little bit so you don't kind of burn out doing the absolute most challenging thing around the clock.
Ryan has an interesting idea here. Could we look at perhaps a Cyclone Stone way of cycling difficulty? So maybe you pay 5 relics to close the scroll and reopen it. It's almost like you just throw relics away and it would recycle it without having to get another scroll right in the treasure map interface.
Yeah, it's interesting because there's the reluctance to abandon that map because obtaining the scroll requires a lot of effort, whereas like a Relic Hunter scroll case, don't really mind having to toss it and open up a new one because they're not nearly as difficult or hard to come by.
Yeah, almost like an initial cost if you got it, and now a tinier cost to run through the gauntlet of getting a random difficulty till it lands on when you want. Some strangeness there, though, potentially with if you obviously can't have started the map in terms of catching any of the mice on there. You have to do this before you commit to it, and once you catch a mouse, then that feature goes away. You can't change the difficulty after the fact.
Yeah, some rough edges. Similarly, when we're looking for just basically a way through clicking buttons on the interface to somehow pick or control the difficulty of the map associated with some sort of resource, it just became. There's a lot of connected tissue there in the code, I guess, to kind of sort that out in a reasonable time frame anyway. Warren, that's an interesting comment in the chat. Kind of when you're in the mid-game, when you're in the mid-tier, and you open up a map, it picks mice from areas based on your title, but you may not have unlocked all those areas yet. Yeah, that's fair. That's a little tricky. Definitely makes mapping kind of I think one of the best tools in your toolbox is making sure you have all your areas unlocked before you become a serious mapper. Yeah, relics are too easy to get.
Fair.
Perhaps rare map dust could be better, or some combination of the two. I think that's kind of involved in the shop we were or the cost we were workshopping. It says Reaper there. The adventure book knows where you've been, says Dallas.
It knows. I was going to say maybe when you dusting a map and you get the pop-up to see the rare rewards, that's where you can also set the difficulty if you want to, and it's like a one-time thing, or only for certain map types, potentially.
Yeah. Why don't we shift gears a little bit into Relic Hunter Season 9, and that's kind of a big reason Giorgio's joining us this week as well, because he's kind of owning that whole release. He's helping organize and keep everybody on track there. So we're digging in. If you remember a few weeks ago, we were discussing Relic Hunter Season 9, and we're still very much in kind of just finishing up brainstorming and ideation, and we wanted to kind of test the waters a little bit and see what player sentiment was on kind of 4 things that we're looking at doing. So first up was mobile app updates and just kind of making the mobile app easier to navigate. Kind of how's that been coming along, Giorgio?
Yeah, we're still in the early stages there. We're doing a lot of mock-ups, but we've had some nice, some sort of nice brainstorming sessions about that. Things like when you're looking at the map interface right now on mobile, let's say, grab your phone right now and take a look with me here. And if you're on a map, you can see it there in the bottom of the camp page. But when you tap on it, you're kind of orphaned in this view a little bit, right? You're kind of just here by itself. And then if you want to go, well, wait, what are my other invites or my requests, or what's my next scroll? And you have to tap the little menu button, go to the treasure maps, and kind of drag around there. And from that menu, there's a way to go back to the active treasure map. But once you go there, you're kind of stuck unless, again, you tap the back button. So one of the main changes there is we're going to add some way to navigate between those 2 views right on the same page, regardless of how you get there, just to kind of streamline that a little bit. So you have almost like on desktop, you have active maps, community, map scroll, scroll shop, something to that capacity. Not nearly as many tabs because that's a little cumbersome on the mobile app, but that's one of the main changes there. So kind of cleaning up the navigation a bit. Another element to that page where you have all these links of the different options there. The start treasure map, for instance, is going to be split up into the 2 options, so you can look at your inventory of scroll cases or buy one from the shop right on the main page. Again, fewer taps, less kind of cumbersome navigation. And we'll get rid of the active treasure map option there because it'll be a tab above it now. So yeah, little things like that, kind of cleaning up, streamlining, maybe looking at a little bit of changing some of the art style of the buttons there, just to kind of make them a little more visually appealing. But that's sort of like on the tail end of things if we have some time. And then finally, and then just overall sort of in other elements of it, not just the navigation there, things like when you finish a map and you claim the chest, you can either hit OK or View, but you have to go, if you wanted to open it right away, you click View, then you tap, then you go OK, and you confirm. A lot of little like tedious taps there, whereas on desktop, when you claim the chest, it's like, look, we found this thing, and you click Open Now. So we want to add that to the mobile app as well. And a lot of other little like improvements like that to clean up the interface and make things like just less cumbersome to move around on the mobile side of things.
Yeah, some of the navigation needs a little cleanup for sure. Kind of unrelated. May in the chat there says filter charms in mobile, please. Yeah, I'd agree. I've had, especially in the floating islands, because it's very contextual what you're doing. Sometimes I'm going after pirates. I was like, I want a bit of a better charm, and it tends to take me an extra 10 seconds to find the one I'm looking for. So I'd be a big fan of that myself as well.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, a lot of the sort of way you search for items on the mobile interface could be improved, and we're sort of like, a little unrelated there, but we're always thinking about that kind of stuff, and we try to commit resources to doing that when we can. Another couple things for the mobile side, the scroll shop right now, you have to travel to the area to buy stuff, whereas you don't on desktop. That would be something we're looking to implement so that you can just chill out where you are and then buy some scrolls without having to be in the area that sells them, for instance. Little things too, like when you're inviting a bunch of hunters to your map, some of the flow there is a little clunky too. You're tapping and you're waiting. Ways to sort of speed that up too, just to make it a little more seamless and enjoyable to use the mobile without switching to desktop just to perform some of those actions, which is something I find I do sometimes.
Yeah.
Other little things too. Right now, when you're on a map with some friends or hunters you've met randomly through a public listing, there's no way to add someone as a favorite hunter when you're on the map with them. You have to have them in your list, and then from there you tap the star. So we want to add that in as well, that you do have, again, basically whatever you kind of see on desktop, we want to bring it to the mobile side to have all those helpful little features and quality of life updates there.
Yeah. Slowly but surely getting there, just chipping away at it.
Yeah, that's it from the mobile side of things.
Yeah.
I can get into the other sort of category of changes here, Dave, unless you want to bring something up.
Yeah, well, a couple questions here. Clarent asks, are toxic spill maps hard-coded to rank or the spill level? No, they are by rank as well. So that's kind of an example how most of the maps in the game, when you open them, you get something kind of title appropriate. But Slayers and Relic Hunter are random. And there's maybe a few other event maps that work that way, but they're pretty well the only two that do that. So that's a scratch in our heads a bit. But yeah, good.
Actually, here's
Oops, sorry, go ahead, Giorgio.
yeah, I was gonna say GR Reaper, Reaper. I guess Grim. I always have to switch to desktop if I need to pass mapped and roll. Yeah, I didn't even actually realize that myself. Yeah, on the mobile side of things, there's no way to kind of transfer ownership of a map. So that's something we can look into tacking on. That wasn't in our sort of official list here. So some things, might not make the cut because there's just so many changes we want to make. But I think that's a high quality one that would be super helpful.
Yeah, we've got some notes going here, a few things from the chat that are going to be good to jot down.
Yeah, absolutely.
We're even looking just maybe outside the Relic Hunter season, kind of contemplating, okay, maybe some things need to be packed away. It's almost too much to tackle all at once. So kind of breaking that down and letting kind of a smaller team focus on one specific feature set or change just to kind of get a little bit more momentum behind it. So that might be good in the new year as well to even revisit maps. It's a big popular feature in the game, so even spending a little bit more time on it throughout the year and many small releases instead of one big one might be easier for us to manage.
We take the opportunity during the seasonal updates to go, hey, instead of just adding some new content, let's do some little tweaks and upgrades to the interface or add some new features or tools. But yeah, of course, there's only so much we can do, but absolutely, we can also take opportunities throughout the rest of the year to tackle these things instead of waiting to do it once a year and cramming in as much as we can in that small period of the day.
Yeah, especially this is a busy time for us usually with event season kicking off. We're kind of all hands on deck. KDM asked about mouse targeting, but maybe before we get to that, we'll because we're kind of going almost in the order in which we're prioritizing these things in Relic Hunter. But we mentioned a couple weeks ago, Giorgio, that we're working on community map improvements. So last year it was very much kind of we added it, proof of concept, wanted to see how many players used it, got tons of feedback and suggestions on it. Became clear a lot of people were using it. So kind of what are our plans there with improving the community map interface?
Yeah, tons of stuff there too. We've been again working on some mock-ups, and we haven't gotten right into the swing of things. But the plan there is to add more, obviously add filtering to it. Right now, you just kind of go page by page and hope for the best. So some of the key things will be when you're looking at a community map listing, will be and again, this is something we can get some feedback for, but hiding maps that are full. Basically, right now you go and you look, and sure you could request it, but the person who's listed that map likely is. They've got what they needed to, and they don't need anyone else to send requests unless it's one of those active maps where someone's hopping on to snipe a map and come off. I doubt those players are using the mapping listing in the same way versus just using Discord to communicate with other snipers. So when you look at that listing, maps that are full won't show up. If they do unfill, if a user drops off, it reappears in the listing. It's not going to be gone forever. It doesn't get delisted. It's just not visible. And again, that's something if there's an outcry or it's not what players are after, there's just ways we can filter that and just provide a way to just hide them yourself and let them still show up. But things like sortable columns. So when you're looking at, let's say you want to join a map which has the fewest number of hunters or that has the fewest number of mice left. There's only 2 mice to catch. Cool, I want to join that one so I can get on and be done right away. You'll be able to do that now, to sort the columns. Right now, it's just not possible. Be able to search as well. So let's say you want to find all rare wanted posters. Instead of having to type out, or instead of obviously right now just dragging on page by page to hunt them down, you can do a little search query with a name matching string, and it'll come up. You can do the same for any other map type. You just simply type out the name you want to see, and you get a result set matching that. Little things due to the UI right now, per page we show 10 maps, and it's a little annoying for me personally that I gotta scroll to see them all. So we're gonna make the whole box just a little bigger so that it shows you all 10 results in one page. And some helpful tools too to sort of directly link to the public listings. Right now, to go to the maps, you click on the icon that's there in the sort of blue marble on the desktop side, or you navigate through the menu on mobile. But a way to sort of directly go to the public listings as a shortcut, I think would be helpful. So you just one click, bam, and you're there instead of like a few clicks or a few taps to get through. So those are all the like, kind of little tiny tweaks. And that'll be really the bulk of it is adding all this searching and sorting and filtering of community listed maps so you can quickly track down something that you're after. And all these features would apply regardless whether they're public or just your team or your favorites or your friends posted them. All that sort of sorting and filtering will apply across the board.
Yeah. Ashley in the chat says, perfect. Sounds like all the annoying stuff won't be an issue anymore. So there's definitely been lots of feedback. It's clear people are using it. So just a lot of the obvious stuff that it needs, search, filter, sort, help you find the map you're looking for, solve that problem better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Another little things too. I think someone pointed out that when you are invited to join a map and you join it, you get a journal entry. It says, I've begun, the hunt. I'm on this map with this map owner. That doesn't happen apparently, and I wasn't even aware. We just kind of missed it there. That when you do a requested invite and then the owner approves it, you don't get a notification or you don't get a journal entry saying, hey, my request was accepted and now I'm on this map. So we're going to add that in. Again, little extra bits of information so you're aware, hey, a map has started. Now you can see that in case you miss it in the HUD somewhere. So little improvements like that for the community maps. And again, like you were saying, who said it there in the chat, Dave, all the annoyances, we're ironing them out basically.
Easier to use.
So I'm excited about that.
Get done what you're looking to get done. Yeah. And KDM a while ago asked about mouse targeting. So there's kind of two other features we mentioned a few weeks ago, and they're kind of up in the air whether or not we'll have time to do them or not, which also kind of highlights maybe, this is a lot to put into one release. Maybe we got to space that out a little better. But kind of how is the mouse targeting? What's the plan there, Giorgio?
Yeah. So we talked about it last week, or 2 weeks ago, I guess. And again, it was up in the air. The idea of sort of marking or calling a mouse is just say, no functional purpose there. You just, as a visual indicator, instead of using the corkboard, you could sort of click a bunch of mice and say, okay, good. George's after those mice. Dave's after those mice. Because sometimes, and I personally, I use the corkboard now when we're doing Paragon hunting. But if the page rolls over and I forgot, who was doing what, and being able to plan ahead is nice. However, with all the other stuff we're trying to cram in and a lot of the front end needs, those features are going to have to, use up in terms of the time we have, basically. We may not do the mouse targeting this time around. I'll explore sort of the back end side of things on the technical side, adding support so that if anyone wants to in the future, if we have some time or even next year, it's easier to implement the support for storing that information, let's say, of like, okay, I'm able to say Georgia wants this and this and this mouse, and then it's up to when we have some more time to sort of make that something you can see on the front end. So I think it's going to be a revisit in the next year, or maybe a smaller little standalone update. If we do a follow-up Relic Hunter or mapping interface improvement that is unrelated to the seasonal updates, that's where I would see this kind of going forward.
Yeah, kind of like lay a little bit of the groundwork to make it easier to pick up. Flashback says, love the changes. Any possibility for maybe push notifications on a map when you're looking for is posted to the public in the future? Well, that's an interesting suggestion. Might be a little tricky to pull off on scale, but
funny you say that. That was one of the things we talked about last year, and again brought up this year. We didn't even have a chance to even begin to explore that one, given just all these other changes we want to do. But I wanted, and again, this will be sort of as we slowly roll out improvements to the community map listing. Like last year, it was, is this useful? Let's just kind of get it out there. Does it perform well? Is it going to crash the servers, And we proved, hey, it doesn't. It works well. Players are kind of enjoying it. But now it's lacking the ability to filter and sort because it's just too many pages to sort through. So that we're fixing that problem this year. But then I thought, hey, it'd be nice to say, I want to follow this map. I want to know anytime a friend lists a map that is this type or is rare or whatever, something to that capacity. But again, that's such a huge feature on its own that we would need to explore it a little bit more. And then, like Dave was saying, how it would perform on scale is another question that might be something we can't address right away. And so it's been put on the back burner, but definitely a great idea. We'd love to have something like that one day.
Great. And the last kind of item that we were looking at, a few weeks ago we mentioned was kind of map member management, being able to kind of curate, put your map in two different modes, whether it's sort of, all right, this is a map that can be kicked from, and this is a map where once you join it, don't worry, you can't be kicked from this map. And then kind of, got a lot of great feedback, a lot of great suggestions, comments from players to go through. So kind of, where did we land there finally, Giorgio?
Yeah, so we got tons of great feedback from players, a lot of discussions. We saw on Discord there was a thread there for a couple days. I read through that myself. A lot of just concerns around, how it would be implemented, and even on our side too, we have our own concerns. There's a lot of sort of like fine tuning to do, and we want to really make sure we do it right. And I feel like it needs just its dedicated like release that we work on this feature. So we've been collecting all the feedback and suggestions, and that's a great way to approach it for next time. We're not going to have it in this seasonal update, just given the time crunch with all the other stuff we're working on for this release specifically, and then all the unknowns as well. We want a little more time to explore it and have a dedicated design discussion around how it would be best implemented.
Yeah, it's a big one. It's a big one. Warren has an interesting suggestion there to even see the last time there was activity on a map. I don't even know if we have that data, to be honest, but in the community maps you would be able to see, one that, hey, they haven't been working on this map for the last 7 months. I probably don't want to join that one. I mean, when you pop on, you'll be able to maybe tell that pretty quick, but do we even have the last time a mouse was caught on a map?
No, that'd be great. I'm writing that down right now. Yeah, that likely wouldn't make it into this release. That's a kind of bigger, data layer concern to like have to track that, but something to explore for sure. That'd be great to say, hey, last time a mouse was caught 2 seconds ago. Great, this map's active. Or like you said, oh, it's been a month, maybe not. I'm going to avoid this one. Yeah.
Sudantha says any option to lock out mouse, usually to stop someone accidentally capturing the last designated mouse if caught won't drop a clue. Yeah, that's kind of interesting. I wonder if there's a better way to approach that. Kind of like maybe some sort of, obviously it's a little bit niche. It's if you're really active in the mapping community of sniping, leeching, and selling slots. Some way to kind of, the map is done, but it's still not closed. Might be a little less of a cumbersome way to accomplish that. Yeah, a few comments too about just new ways to kind of navigate the profiles on mobile and what you see there. That's definitely kind of something in the idea bank, is just to improve the hunter profiles even further. Just hasn't quite gotten to the top of the priority list. Uncle Gan says Dave's on point, Giorgio's out of sync a bit. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. We're kind of, what I'm doing is I'm just kind of capturing a video on my desktop. So because I'm hosting it, I'm probably have a little less latency than Giorgio. So his lips may not perfectly match his audio, but hopefully you can bear with us.
That's interesting though, because it's all coming through your machine regardless. Like, you're the one broadcasting this, unless I'm literally delayed to you, and then that is being pulled through to the stream side. I don't know.
No, I can even see it on my side in the preview. Your lips are slightly behind your voice by about 3/4 of a second, but you're just time traveling. That's all, George. You're out of phase. You're like coming live from the Rift or something.
Yeah, maybe just the number. I have the stream going, and then I've got the video stream to you. So maybe just something is like lagging on my side and affecting it potentially.
Yeah. Well, circling back on something else map related, saw questions in the chat earlier about Sky Palace maps. So kind of is a little bit ago in the news post, kind of teased at that, and it was great actually to kind of put out that feeler as well. It's been very great for us to be able to read discussions, comments from players, even a little speculation, because that even helps us firm up some of the design direction as well. Being able to kind of gauge expectations, gauge overall impressions and sentiment of what a Sky Palace map might do and how you might start one before it's even released. So that kind of helped fine-tune some of the decisions there. But they're coming along well. They're in the final stages of testing now. I think next week we are tying up a few loose ends. We wanted to do a new airship cosmetic as a potential reward to find in the chests as well, something kind of Empyrean themed for doing that map. So we just want to put together the art assets for that and kind of wrap everything up. So hopefully, if all goes according to plan, not next week, but the week after, a new scroll case should be available in the Floating Islands Cartographer to start a map.
Noise.
KDM suggests, Giorgio, you may have to do a little ventriloquism. I don't know if that would make things
like
better
kind
or
of,
worse, though, but I guess you could purposefully
right.
compensate for the sync.
Yeah, so I speak, but with the ventriloquist effect, and then I delay my mouth movements by a little bit to match up later, or I start. Yeah, I can't really.
Steam will be pouring out of your ears. Kai asks, has it been considered to add map invites to non-friends directly from the map UI? I'm not sure if I follow you there. You should be able to adjust your map settings in such a way that, I guess it's on the other person's end, whether they want to receive invites from people who are not their friends, so it's more of a privacy control than a map setting. James asked any information on when the next Relic Hunter season will be, so it'll be sometime in November. And we're just we're being a little ambitious of how much we're trying to bite off, and I worry it's a little bit more than we could chew, but we're prioritizing our best, and we want to have it come in November. Mary asks, will there be aliens and punks for Halloween? That's a little bit of left field. I don't think so, though.
Like dressed up? No. Well, there's the one like the Teenage Witch one, which is like I guess a Buffy sort of reference in a way. It's a little punk-like, but no aliens, unfortunately.
The Grey Mouse might actually have an alien costume, if I remember correctly. It's been a while since I looked at that.
Oh yeah, true. The costumes, yeah, the sort of weird alien costume, or is that the mutated one I'm thinking of? Oh no, there's an alien version too, I think, right, of the Grey.
Laurie suggests specific setups for palace hunting as opposed to island hunting. We're not quite there yet. We are kind of thinking bigger picture of just the trap library, how to make that work throughout the game. There's a lot of rough edges with it that even I've fallen victim to it already myself, when you get a new trap that you haven't had.
I think the key there would be, like its own dedicated sort of place in the game, like an interface you pop up to manage your trap library. Right now, because it's only available to save for a type when you're there on the island, it's a little cumbersome because then you have to remember, okay, next time I'm on this island, I need to switch it out because it's going to go to the old stuff. It's like a lot of moving parts. Whereas if it was like one big old, like, hey, here's a trap library, and you can come in here and then go like, oh, okay, all of these update, or some kind of way to like pick the best. And you click a button and it just kind of makes them all set that way. Yeah. But that's just such a huge undertaking. We need to really, really explore it.
Yeah, in a similar vein, the suggestion system has needed love for a while, but it's a little archaic. It's a whole lot of work to kind of get in there, and it's a little bit like rebuilding the whole ship, and you have to swap out all the parts. Is it even the same ship anymore?
Theseus ship. Classic philosophical question.
Ben says the Sky Palace map is more effort than the Sky Pirate, so they need to be more rewarding. We're looking to try to hopefully create a nice flow where they're both interesting and useful in different ways. When you have no storm cells, and if you have a consistent team of map mates, or depending on how you tackle maps, if you're out of storm cells, the pirate maps are a great fit because you go out and you're doing low, high altitude runs, collecting more storm cells, getting ready to go. And then the Sky Palace maps, at least right now, they are going to include one of each palace protector. So okay, there's going to be 8 palace runs involved in this map, minimum. So you and your team are going to need 400 storm cells. So definitely, there's a little bit of a entry barrier, a barrier to entry on them. But we've dialed up the rewards quite a bit in terms of jewels. There'll be a good way of kind of collecting your jewels, as well as Cloud Curd to kind of give them a little bit of unique identity as well. Kind of replaced out some of the Cyclone Stones and Bottled Wind with some more Cloud Curd, and then a generous helping of jewels. Alan asks, how much will the scrolls cost? So we have been kind of going all over the place, looking at it from different angles. I can't remember the exact number, but it is, I don't want to misspeak. It's over 3,000 though. But the number of jewels that you get from opening the chest, it is better than an Empyrean Trove. So you can kind of choose, instead of purchasing a trove with your Empyrean seals, you can opt for starting a map and then share that with the map mates that you have as well. And I'm going to come out ahead because I'm putting in extra time and effort out of these seals, as well as you get to share that reward with all your friends as well. So if you kind of even think not just jewels coming into you, but jewels that you get to share with your map mates, it is a generous dose of jewels indeed. And Bryce says MouseHunt V4 when? It's a dream of ours. Yeah, a lot of kind of the big projects would be very or easier to handle with something of that magnitude. Ashley asks, is that clear in the map's description? Yes. So we did make sure to say, hey, all palace protectors are going to be there, because that became quite apparent in playtesting early. You need to know that you need to be ready when you start this. Otherwise, it's going to be chilling out for a while. So we definitely want to make it plain as day in the description of the scroll case. Hey, when you buy the scroll case, get ready. It's a minimum of 8 palace runs to complete the map. Sheep Boy says, hopefully not all 4 Empyrean guards plus both Rich Boys. No, I think right now there are 3 of the... I guess in-game we don't really have a name for them. Programmatically, we call them the Tier 3 mice because you need 3 of a kind to be able to attract them. I believe there's only 3, so there's 3 of the Tier 3 mice on the map, which means you're going to need to do you can pick those up while you're getting the Palace Protectors. But we are, like I said, doing some final playtesting next week as well. So, subject to change, subject to final feedback. Well, that's kind of where we're at. I wonder if the stream cut out about 4 minutes ago. I noticed the time live just refreshed, but hopefully we were okay. It was just a blip. How many pirate seals will be needed? It is just slightly more than a 5-person pirate map, so you'll need a pretty good amount of pirate seals, and then probably more Empyrean seals, a lot of seals going on, than you can obtain in a single run. So to set that up, you have to do 2 palace runs to collect seals. Ryan says, now I don't know if Giorgio is being a ventriloquist. Yeah, this is Giorgio speaking the entire time. I'm just moving my lips. Uh-oh, it did freeze for a minute. All right, thanks, Michelle. Maybe my internet hiccuped. Swift says, that's a lot of seals. Well, that's good to kind of make sure it's a good rewarding map as well, so... Well, Giorgio, should we, as we quite often do, wrap things up with trivia this week? Oh, you're muted there, Giorgio.
Excellent. I muted because a train went by, and then I forgot to unmute, and then I've been talking and not being heard. That's great. Gotta love it.
Thought you were being a little quiet.
I don't know. Wasn't too helpful. I was just making some dumb jokes.
How we missed dumb jokes?
When Ryan said I made some jokes and they're gone. When I mentioned that Ryan said 8 palace runs, and I was chatting there for a bit, but I think I was muted at the time. That was legit. But then, the Seals. That's a lot of Seals. I was like, is that like Seal's new album name? He just called it like That's a Lot of Seals by Seal.
His greatest hits. Just call it That's a Lot of
Greatest
Seals.
Hits. It'd be the greatest hits album. That's a lot of Seals.
That's a lot of Seals.
Whoa.
You're right before trivia as well. Bryce says, any ideas for new Relic Hunter bases already? They will both be bases. And Giorgio, what region are they going to be useful in?
Ooh, I can give you that hint. Yeah, so kind of following from a little almost complementary to this season's or last year's season, whatever, season 9 bases. It's going to be in the same region. So they kind of complement each other. So it'll be nice if you were around and you got those other bases, and then you get these bases. They're kind of all like, it's not like a tremendously big kind of interactivity there, just that it's like they all fit a theme in a sense. So they are Hollow Heights bases.
Yeah, so a couple new bases to help out in Hollow Heights. Even we were workshopping a Hollow Heights Grand Tour map, and it was coming along, but we decided maybe not to kind of do everything all at once. Might be a little bit of overload, so we're going to kind of let that simmer for a little bit longer on the back burner, let the flavors depthen just a little bit more, and maybe in the new year it'd be a better time to release the Grand Tours.
Netgrid says, Tanonania and Mausoleum, definitely. Like we need to compress those areas, so we've added 4 new bases to each.
You stick to the meadow, maybe. Or actually, just the login
screen.
You're
right.
The level before the meadow. We'll just a base for the login screen.
No, the login screen. Yeah, exactly. Like you need a base to get through the login screen.
Necrid asks, 100% attraction rate for Diamond Hide base. You know what? You're warm. You're warm. I wouldn't say quite that potent, but you're warm on maybe the effect of one of those bases.
Lukewarm.
Snowy, any new tracks?
First day
for
of
the float?
spring. Still kind of chilly.
All right, you ready for the trivia, Giorgio?
You mean the quar?
You get to say it. The quar.
Quad, quad! Quad, 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 quad! Yeah, I'm ready for the quar.
You're still with us in voice, but your video is gone, Giorgio. But today's trivia
That's it?
question, do you want to do the honors of reading it?
Wait, you can't even see me, Dave?
I can see you, yes. But they can't. But they can hear you.
Oh, you mean because you've changed the interface?
Change to the trivia question.
Oh, that? I thought you just meant something went like totally out of place. All right, yes, I'm gonna read. So, do I read this part too, Dave, or just the cue? Just the cue.
Read the cue.
No, because this is your notes to me. Okay. All right, so here's the cue for the quar. How many total unique map types have there been throughout the history of the game? When you say map types, Dave, do you mean map pieces or treasure maps?
So, treasure maps.
Okay, so types of, I see what you're saying there.
Wanted poster,
let's
treasure maps, scavenger list, even
Right.
the
Oh, you're giving all the...
egg carton. I don't even mean types of map, like literally, like we call them rule sets, Giorgio. How many total
Oh,
unique
you're
rule
talking
sets
about
are there?
literally scroll case, and then map. The type of, you get a map and it's like an easy, a hard, an undead, whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, right.
Everything. So, Relic Hunter, you can find easy, medium, hard, elaborate, arduous, elite. I was counting them, I lost count, but that's many map types. Through the whole game, how many unique sort of rule sets of maps can you find? This is really trivial knowledge, and dare I say it is at a high risk of us being wrong, because maybe there's a map type that exists that never got used, I don't know.
Oh, I see what you mean, because they might be ones that they never saw. And actually, I just fixed the answer because you were off, unless you made that because you looked at something.
I had Franco get the answer for me this morning. Was he incorrect? For liability purposes, it is Franco that is incorrect.
It is Franco who has made the error. So I'm seeing a lot of 50s, 60s, 70s, much higher. Keep going up. Jason said 300, a little too high on that one. Not a little too high, pretty high. Salim, you're getting a little closer. That's pretty close.
Salim's the warmest.
Again, I don't know
It's
how
hot
long we
even.
wrote that. Maybe we'll do that. 199 for Mark, too high on that one.
It's getting colder.
Keep guessing. So between Salim and Mark's recent guesses. So 213, too high. Caleb says 196, too high. Whoa,
Whoa,
here they come,
Leonard!
here they come. Whoa.
Leonard's so close.
You see
Just
it?
misses the bullseye.
Oh, so close. Leonard, you were so close. So close, Leonard. Ooh, wait. Ooh,
Leonard with the
almost.
duplicate
Leonard,
guess, still
another
close.
one. Oh, that's oh, Necrid. Ooh, close in the wrong direction. There it is.
Oh, Ryan.
Ryan got it. 129. Yep. So there are 129 unique rule sets, as we call them, for treasure maps, and we're talking like, arduous, easy, all those, just everything. There's a lot of maps in this game.
Let's get the correct answer in there of 129. Franco proved he was a programmer by giving me an off by one answer.
Haha.
These are the two most
But
challenging
again, there
things
might
in
be
computers. That joke?
Might be math. Sorry, what?
No, that joke. The two most challenging things in computer science: cache persistency, data integrity, and off by one errors.
I think it was naming things. Was it naming things?
No, naming things. Yeah, cache persistency, naming
Yeah.
things, and off by one
Naming
errors are the
things
two
and off by
most
one.
biggest
Oh,
problems.
that's more than two. Oh, we were off by one. I get it.
There is the reward link in the chat. I don't think I claimed this either today myself. I'm not logged in on
Let me
this
take a
machine.
look.
Well,
29,000. Wait, you didn't put the reward link? I don't see it.
it should be arriving in the chat shortly.
No, the chat's live though. Oh, weird.
See, there's a slight delay of when you type something in the chat when it appears for everybody else. I think the Google bots
Really?
are scanning it for bad stuff,
Oh, dude, I received 5 million Sky Pirate seals. Nice, thanks, dude.
Oh, you didn't get the 5 million sandblasted metal, Giorgio?
No, I got this. I got the seal. I think they're more valuable.
I got the template
not
plates.
really good.
Welcome back, Giorgio.
Welcome back. Wait, I'm back. Oh, like my face is back. Guess who's back? My face back. I'm clicking on my raffles. You made me load the game, and then I saw my inbox was full of raffle sends.
So, Samantha, do I claim the reward before Feedback Friday? Somebody has to test the link, right?
Yeah, we're gonna test the link that we didn't put 500 Sandblast medals by mistake. Ben, you asked, yeah, Sandblast medal is greater than seals. In a monetary, in gold, sure, but not in like enjoyment. You can't really do much with 5 million Sandblast medal except have a bunch of gold, and no one needs gold anymore. But 5 million seals, you can do a lot with that. You can do a lot of maps.
Was my trivia music too loud? I did have some trivia music playing, creeping everybody out.
I didn't even hear it. Oh, I had it.
Maybe it was too loud. I'll turn it down next time. Or maybe it's just a bad idea.
What was the tune? Because I had the stream itself muted, and I can't hear your. Oh, there's a train.
It is the track "Hero" off the MouseHunt album, but slowed to 50% for your slow enjoyment.
Is it the one that the I will? No, wait. What am I thinking? Don't tell me. I'm thinking about the song. Hold on. Give me the first two notes, Dave.
I may not be a hero. I'm pretty tone deaf there, but yeah.
Oh, is it
It's outside my range. It's too low.
Hold on a second.
Music, good idea. Just slightly quieter would be great so we could... Alright, it was too loud. I thought I turned it down, but not far enough. It's tricky because I hear it at a different volume than comes through the stream.
I like Snap, yeah. Snap is one of my favorites.
And maybe to...
Huh?
Oh, go ahead. You first.
I was going to say the Snap song is my favorite just in terms of the energy of it, but I've also done my own lyrics instead of... I just say soup a lot in the song. I don't know why. I think I was making soup one day for lunch, and I was talking to Parm, and I was like, hold on, I gotta make some soup. I was like, you're a soup. You're a soup. Don't seem to soup ya. You're so soup. Just when you think you're soup. Soup. That's what I do at lunch. I sing soup songs to myself. Anyone else? Just me?
Michelle says the slow-mo music was horrible. All right. Live and let
the
learn.
Slow. Oh, did you edit something and slow it down?
Play it at 50% speed for maximum trivia anticipation.
Excellent. Can you do that in iTunes? You can like choose the speed playback.
There's a little mixer in here. You can pitch.
In OBS.
Yeah. KDM says the slow down song is going to give you nightmares tonight. Well, the outro music is going to be a little bit more uplifting, hopefully. I think Impress You is going to be the outro.
All I want is to...
Ryan asks, will the Sky Palace maps be for 4 hunters or for 5 hunters, or will there be 2 variants? So we're kind of just going to stick to 5, because it became clear it was just easier with there being 8 paragons and the reward structure. We thought 4 was going to work well. Hey, we didn't quite anticipate just how many people have a very tight-knit group of 5 that they do maps with, so I think kind of going forward, the de facto number needs to be 5 as a minimum.
De facto.
Mark, any chance of getting Feedback Friday summaries on the forums again? The last couple non-art ones have had no summary on the forums. I might call on a helpful hunter maybe to summarize. I feel like that might be kind of a good thing to, depending on which kind of community you're active in. Would definitely appreciate that.
Someone was asking. Oh, Final Heart asks. Oh yeah, any news on Halloween event maps? I think we touched on that before, but again, we've talked about sort of the new idea, that we're having something that's like a new dedicated area. If anything goes awry, we will kind of fall back to the old Ghost Ships event, which don't have maps. But if everything goes well and we have that dedicated area and off without a hitch, yes, there will be some new event maps to enjoy.
I think there was Halloween event maps last year, which surprised me. I was not aware that we added them for the Ghost Ship. I did not remember.
Well, they only were. It was the old school ones where it's just everything in a big group. You can't kind of pick your groupings, and while you're farming cannibals, you would catch event mice, and then you slowly work through a map.
Yeah, kind of help you during that event mouse hunting phase. All right, well, we've reached noon. It's noon for us here. We're at the hour mark.
Whoa.
So I guess it's time to say thank you for joining us, Hunters. It's been a blast. Thanks for hanging out today. All your feedback, comments, suggestions, please keep the discussion going. Whether it's Facebook page, groups, Discord, we tend to like to lurk in the background and read different comments, speculation, discussion to kind of help collect feedback beyond just Feedback Friday and kind of after it. So please keep the discussion going amongst yourselves, and we'll be peering in and lurking in the background.
Hey Dave, I found this weird mannequin arm on the ground. Do you like it?
I just found an arm on the ground there, Georgia. Oh, you got two of them?
Yeah, I got two arms on the ground. Doesn't work because you can see my shoulders still. Hold on. Hey, look at this thing I just found on the ground. Whoa, cool. It's just it looks just like a real human arm, but it's actually a mannequin arm with the same sweater as that I'm wearing. Bye.
All right, thanks for joining us, Hunters. Hey, happy hunting. Have a great weekend. If you're watching this recorded, hey, whatever you're about to go embark upon, hope it's great. It'll probably be Jacob hanging out with you next week, I would think, but we'll see. Maybe, you never know, there might be a change of plans. But hey, as always, happy hunting. I'll see you next time.
Bye.
2. You're a trap, don't seem to mind it. You attract me, I'm a mouse, you're a cat. I don't seem to mind it. Soft and furry, oh, and just when I think I'm safe, snap. Turns out I'm never safe, snap. Just when you think you're safe, snap. I come back. You don't seem to mind it, but I'm a fool. Broke my back. You don't seem to mind it, 'cause you're so cool. Just when I think I'm safe, snap. Turns out I'm never safe, snap. Ooh. And just when you think you're safe, snap. Turns out I'm never safe.